Craig Berube seems to be making progress with this group and getting through to them, but it's December. I mean, we've seen the Leafs look good in December before.
I did want to ask you a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs because you're a Maple Leafs guy. I famously am not, but even I have to admit they kind of ruled this year. Like, where do you stand on your belief in the Maple Leafs based off of the identity switch that they've kind of seen this season?
The belief is that I said this going into the season. Nothing that happened in the regular season was really going to matter until the playoffs. They could go 82-0. So what? Lose game one of the playoffs, and we're right back to square one. Now, that said, there were certain things you were hoping to see from the Craig Berube era, and I think things have played out pretty much that way. I mean, we have seen better attention to detail, better protecting leads, better defensively. Now, we've also seen better goaltending, which maybe those first three things I said are just all because they've got a couple of unproven goalies who've turned out to be pretty good, pretty near the top of the ceiling of what you would have hoped for them. But yeah, so far so good. If the playoffs started today, you'd feel better about this team than you probably did some of the Sheldon Keefe versions, even though those teams were better defensively than they often got credit for. Craig Berube seems to be making progress with this group and getting through to them, but it's December. I mean, we've seen the Leafs look good in December before. Let's get to April. Let's get to the Bruins or whoever it's going to be, and then we see how it goes. I feel a little bit better about them. Certainly, I can envision scenarios where I'd feel a lot worse than I do right now if things had played out differently. But I can't imagine too many Leaf fans are getting too excited quite yet because you can only have the football yanked away from you so many times before you start to catch on.
But their defense is the best that it's been in years.
Yeah.
And this is also, this should be a sense of like, if not now, when? Because Marner's in a walk year. I pray for that fucking guy that he doesn't sign back there and that this can be the end for him and that you two can just go your separate ways. But I'm surprised there's not much of like a kind of 2004 Red Sox feeling where it's like, we're kind of doing it for this year. We signed some aging defensemen. This is the best those players are going to be. This is the last look potentially of Mitch Marner here. Auston Matthews is going to Turkey, getting hair transplants, taking a rest, so he's going to be good for the playoffs, whatever the hell that he's doing. And the goaltending, I like, but maybe I just haven't been hurt by them, that I feel you should be way more optimistic. I love Stolarz for them. Is there not a sense of this could be it? Or, I mean, you brought up the Charlie Brown imagery of getting the football yanked away, but why is what I just said, why doesn't that connect?
Especially in a weak Eastern Conference.
Yeah. Weak Eastern Conference, I said the Bruins, but obviously the Bruins have had a tougher start to the season than you would think. You start to feel like maybe the path out of the East is a little bit clearer than it normally would be. You're right that the blue line is old. So, I mean, you got 6 years of Chris Tanev, but you don't have 6 years of Chris Tanev. We know the deal with that. So, with the goaltending, I think they've got two guys that, remember, neither one of these guys has ever started 40 games in a season. So I really feel like there's a sense of like, let's wait till we get to the end of the year and see if it's keeping up. The only thing I'll disagree with you on is Mitch Marner, because when these rosters came out, I realized then Mitch Marner's going to get 4 points in the gold medal game against Team USA, and everybody's going to go, he's figured it out. He's playoff Mitch all of a sudden.
That's what I said yesterday.
They're going to give him $13.5 million the next day for 8 years.
He's going to be the darling of this tournament, and every Canadian market is going to say, we need this guy, including the Canadian market that is Toronto. I cannot wait.
Yeah, same here. Really, really excited about that.
The Leafs were surprisingly good without Auston Matthews. I think 7-2 without him in the lineup. Brought up some hot take artists, but like at this point in time, who do you think is the Toronto Maple Leafs' single most important player to their success?
I mean, it's still Auston Matthews. It's not Mitch Marner. It's the blue line's been a bit more of a collective effort. I hesitated there because part of me wanted to say whoever the starting goalie is on that night is actually the most important, but that's probably true for for every team. And I'm not sure when you've got a 1 and 1A like they have now that you can pick either guy, say, this guy's the most important when the other guy could come in and maybe do just as well. I still think it's still the Auston Matthews team, and he's still one of the 5 best players in the world, and quite possibly the best player the team has ever had, certainly in my lifetime. So, nice to see them have the good record and play the good defense and all of those things when he's not around. But as far as, you talk about this being the year, there's not a scenario where this is the year that doesn't involve the Auston Matthews monster playoff, like the Connor McDavid style. This guy's in the Conn Smythe conversation playoff run that, to put it mildly, has not happened yet. That has to happen
I would
he's still the guy.
Personally argue it's Yanni Hakanpää, and I think that after we see the Four Nations tournament, that would be even better than Marner going off and breaking people's brains. If Hakanpää is like a stout top pairing guy, and then every time there's any struggles with the Leafs, why isn't this guy in the lineup? What's Berube doing?
That could be it. I mean, he's out there every time, especially after he injures Matthews and Marner in the Four Nations tournament.
Yes.
Oh,
come
God,
back and
that would rock.
He'll be right there. Yep.
We all silly like the mayor.